Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I really don't have a specific look in mind. I do know that I want to kind of go for a fall themed look. I was just looking at pictures of leaves earlier and I got really inspired. So I think I am going to do kind of a cut crease, more sharp edge. So I am going to use some tape here. I have my eyes primed already and set, so I don't need to do that on camera, but I'm going to just put this tape kind of on where I want my line to end here. I think I'm going to put it out a little bit further. Okay, so this tape is going to kind of be my stopping point for my eyeshadow, especially because I am going to be doing the cut crease here. It just helps everything go a little bit more smoothly. I guess let's jump right into the look. So first of all, I am going to take just kind of a lighter brown here. I'm going to take this first color here. I'm going to tap off the excess just so we don't make a mess on our eyes and kind of just lay it down in my crease area. Okay, and then I'm just not going to put any more product on. I'm just going to kind of buff it towards the brow bone a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take just a little bit more of that color, kind of bring it up a little bit higher. This is just going to be a nice transition shade for everything to kind of melt together. Now that I have this kind of laid down, I am going to just go right into a much darker brown. Okay, as you can see, a lot of preparation went into this video. I'm going to take just this really warm brown here. I'm just going to pop it right above my crease. I know I've mentioned this in other videos, but I do have hooded eyes, so my crease kind of gets lost. So I'm bringing this right above. I'm just creating kind of a half moon shape, and then we'll kind of diffuse the outer edges in a little bit here. Okay, so now that I have this color laid down, I'm just going to take this first brush that we started out with and kind of just blend out the edges here, just so we can get rid of the harsh line. One thing I am noticing about this color is it is a little bit patchy, so it does need a little bit more kind of work to get it nice and smooth. Okay, so now I'm going to take just kind of a smaller brush here. I have the vintage brush. I'm just going to take just this little edge here and go just a little bit darker for in my crease. Okay. So this is the color we used before. I'm just going to kind of jump to this shade right here. It's a little bit of a deeper brown, and I just put it right on the edge of my brush there. And we're just going to use that to really lightly just go in the crease. So just going to give it a bit more dimension. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of that same shade right on the edge again, and just kind of continue to deepen my crease. I think I'm actually going to go one step darker also. I'm just going to take this e.l.f. crease brush and I'm just going to dip into this dark brown shade right here. And of course tapping off the excess. And just keeping this really centered towards the bottom of that half moon shape that we created before. Okay, so as you can see now, we have more of a gradient. It's going to continue deepening this up a little bit, and then I'm going to go back in with that first fluffy brush that we used. And I'm going to blend them all together. Okay, so now that I have that darkest shade laid down, I'm going to take this brush again and kind of just blend them all together. Okay, I'm going to go in with just this really lighter brown shade here. Just a little bit to help soften up the edges up here again. Okay, and just because it's really bugging me that I don't have any shimmer on my brow bone, I'm gonna take a second just to do that quick. I'm just gonna take this really pretty shimmer shade right here and just kind of top this part off. Okay, I'm putting that by your brow bone. You don't need to put a shimmer shade per se, but I feel like just putting a shade right at your brow bone really just helps complete the look. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Alamar Cosmetics brush. It's just this nice flat brush here, and I'm going to take some e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I'm going to cut out my crease just so the next shades that I'm using aren't going to mix in with my darker shades. Okay, so to cut out my crease, what I'm doing is just putting the concealer kind of thickly right here, and then I'm just going to look up and then back down, and then it creates a nice line here that it will kind of act as a guide. Okay, so now that I have that done, I am going to just take that darkest shade that we used and kind of just buff it right above here, just so there's a little bit more of a seamless line there. Okay, now I'm going to take our brighter shades and use them in my lid area. So because this is kind of inspired by leaves, I'm going to start with this orange shimmer shade here. I'm just going to start right at my inner corner. I'm just leaving a little bit of blank space in there. I'm just going to lay this down. Okay. And I am doing more pressing motions than really dragging motions, just because if you press it into the lid instead of drag it across, you're going to get more pigment out of the color. I'm just bringing this shade right into the middle of my eye. Okay, so now that I have this shade laid down, I am going to take just another brush here. I'm just going to take this kind of fluffier brush, and I am going to dip into this red right here. And we're kind of just going to put it right next to that orange. I'm not going to bring it all the way to the edge because we are going to be using one more color to kind of deepen up our outer crease a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to take, just because I really want this to be very precise, I'm just going to take this Luxie 141 brush. It's just this tiny little brush here. And I'm going to dip into this next red here. I know it looks really bright on camera, but it is a bit deeper than the other one. I'm going to tap off the excess and kind of just stamp it towards the outer edge. I think that might have been a little bit too deep, but we can go back in and put the brighter red on top of it too. So I'm just going to take that same brush and dip into that other red that we had. I'm just going to brighten that up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back in with that orange shade that we first used, that really pretty shimmery orange, and I'm going to kind of melt the two colors together. Okay, so now if you can see, the two colors are kind of meshed together, so there's no harsh lines there. And you can keep going back and forth just to make sure that your gradient is very precise, just the way you want it. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to just take another small brush here. This is just a simple e.l.f. brush, and I am going to dip into that highlight shade that we use for our brow bone. Get a pretty good amount on the brush there. I'm going to put it right in the inner corner and bring it up into the orange. Go back into the orange again. make that a little bit more prominent. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because we kind of lost our line just a little bit with the brown, I'm just going to take this flat brush here. I'm just going to get a little bit of that brown color, that deepest brown that we used before. And I'm going to just recreate that line a little bit. Okay, so now that we recreated that line, I am going to take a brush with no product on it and just kind of blend. I'm going to take another shade here again. It's that same light shade that we used to begin with on that same brush. And we're just going to continue blending. Okay, so now we have that laid down. Everything's a little bit more precise here. I am going to clean this up a little bit over here, just because it is a little bit darker right here than I would like it to be. Just using a little bit of concealer. Just kind of dragging it up. And of course, if something is too dark for you, you can always fix it. Just a little bit more shimmer too. And that really helps brighten things up in the center there. See, just a little bit of shimmer really helped that. Okay, and I think I'm going to take some more of that orange shade that we used, that really bright orange. I'm just going to lay it down right on top of there. It just lightens things up a little bit. Just going to take that first brush with no more product on it and kind of just blend them a little bit together. Okay, so now that we have that part done, I'm just going to kind of check it here. We have a nice straight line. I am actually going to replace the tape here because I am going to be doing a wing. So I will do that. I'm going to finish up my bottom lash line. We're just going to be doing this eye today to kind of just give an idea of how this is going to work. And then I'll be right back. Okay guys, here's a finished look. I did decide to do the other eye off of screen real quick. Just wanted to show you kind of an up close of it and just how it kind of turned out here. So there will be many more fall inspired looks coming up here, but I was really just wanting to play with some color today. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know. And you guys have a great rest of your day.